Want to play the victim? Fine. Walk to the hospital.
His Tesla vanished in a cloud of dust, leaving me to give birth on the highway shoulder. There was an unfinished tea and untouched toast on the kitchen table. Morning light streamed through the blinds, painting stripes on the worn parquet floor. I placed a hand on my belly, feeling Emma's gentle kicks during her morning routine. 9 months. Almost there. Remember our first dinner? I asked the emptiness. 3 years ago, Michael had made pasta, even though he couldn't cook. The sauce burned, but we laughed, eating directly from the pot while sitting on the floor. He talked about his dreams, startup, house, children. I believed every word. The phone vibrated. A message from Sarah. Meeting at 10. Is Michael coming? I froze. Sarah from Michael's office. My finger trembled over the screen. A mistake or... Got coffee? Michael appeared in the doorway, rumpled with red eyes. In his hands was the iPhone he quickly pocketed. In the coffee maker, I replied. Mike, who is Sarah? His face twitched but quickly turned impassive. New developer. He poured coffee. Why? She sent a message to me instead of you. About a meeting. The mug clinked on the counter. You spying on me? His voice turned icy. I'm worried, I said quietly. You come home after midnight, barely talk to me. You didn't come to the ultrasound. Because I'm working. He turned away. Someone has to provide for the family, and you sit at home, imagining, I'm carrying your child. My voice trembled. Our daughter. Emma. Which I didn't plan, he shouted, the words hanging in the air like a slap. I clutched my belly as if protecting Emma. You said you wanted children? Not now. He grabbed his briefcase. You got pregnant and left me no choice, and now you're playing detective. Emma kicked particularly hard. I leaned against the wall, feeling my knees weaken. Want to know the truth? Michael paused at the door. Yes, Sarah. We've been seeing each other for 4 months. She's young, free, doesn't pressure, doesn't demand. With her, I live, and here, I exist. He left. The door slammed. I slid down the wall, cradling my belly. Emma kicked, as if trying to comfort. Tears dripped onto the checkered tablecloth, smudging the pattern. I struggled to stand. On the table, the phone blinked. A message from Michael. Buy groceries. The list was in notes. I opened it. Milk, bread, turkey, toilet paper, peanut butter, laundry detergent, soda, a long list, as if for a whole family. I sighed heavily. I was due any day now. Dr. Johnson had forbidden lifting heavy things, walking much. I stood there, my hands shaking. I looked at my belly, feeling Emma's kick, as if reminding, I'm here. Wiping away tears, I took my bag and went to the supermarket. As always, the suburban streets were bathed in sunshine, but each step was difficult. My legs were swollen, my back burned, my belly pulled downward. In Walmart, I slowly placed groceries in the cart, ignoring the gaze of the cashier, an elderly African-American woman with kind eyes. Honey, need help carrying? She asked, glancing at my belly. I'll manage, I replied, though my hands trembled. In the parking lot, a bag tore. Apples rolled across the asphalt, red, shiny. I stopped, watching them roll between cars. I didn't bend down, didn't chase them. I walked on. My steps were heavy, like my thoughts. I was tired not from pregnancy, but from loneliness. Michael was already home. He lay on the couch, remote in hand, ESPN showing baseball. The bags thudded to the floor. He didn't turn around.
"Forgot the soda,"
he said, not looking away from the screen. I froze. Was that all he noticed? Not my trembling hands, not the tears I held back? Silently, I went to the bedroom, closed the door, and sat on the bed. Emma kicked, and I put my hand on my belly. "We'll be okay," I whispered. But the fear grew, not of childbirth, not of pain, of being alone when Emma arrived. 3 days later, I woke to the sound of footsteps. Michael paced the corridor, phone pressed to his ear. His voice was irritated.
"No, Mom, we're going. She's fine. Pregnant, but not dying."
I sat up, heart pounding. I reached for my belly, feeling muscles tense. Michael finished the call and entered the bedroom, dropping a travel bag on the floor.
"Pack up," he said, not looking. "We're going to my parents for the weekend."
I blinked. "Mike, I'm 9 months," I said softly. "Dr. Johnson said no trips." He shrugged.
"It's 2 hours to Connecticut. Parents are waiting. Don't start dramatizing."
"It's not drama," I said, my voice firming. "It's a risk for me and Emma." He rolled his eyes.
"Get in the car, Elizabeth,"
he said, his tone commanding. I wanted to argue, but his gaze, cold, empty, silenced me. I packed a hospital bag just in case and went to the car. Michael sat at the wheel, fingers drumming on the steering wheel. I fastened the seatbelt, placing my hands on my belly. I-95 stretched ahead, suburbs blurred past the window, but inside grew a feeling that something was wrong. Half an hour later, it started. A sharp pain pierced my side. I gasped, gripping the door, then felt warmth. Liquid ran down my legs, soaking my dress. "Mike," I said, my voice trembling. "My water broke. Turn back. To the hospital now." He glanced over, eyes full of irritation.
"Really? Right now?"
he said.
"Don't make stuff up."
"I'm in labor," I shouted. "Please, turn back." He gritted his teeth, hands clenched the wheel.
"I told you,"
he growled.
"You always ruin everything."
Contractions began, slow but strong. I breathed heavily, fingers dug into the seatbelt. "Mike, turn back," I pleaded.
"Emma."
He hit the brakes. The car swerved onto the shoulder. Michael turned, his face twisted with anger.
"You want to play the victim?"
he shouted.
"Fine. Walk to the hospital."
He leaned over, flung the door open, grabbed my bag, and threw it into the grass. I gasped.
"You just ruined my life,"
he spat, and drove off. The Tesla sped away, leaving a cloud of dust. I stood on the shoulder, dress wet, hands shaking, contractions mounting. Alone. 9 months pregnant, in labor. Fear and humiliation squeezed my chest. Tears flowed, but I couldn't move. Suddenly, I heard a voice. "Liz! Oh my God!" I turned. Kate, my college friend I hadn't seen in a year, ran towards me. Kate lived nearby and happened to be passing. She pulled out her iPhone, recording as Michael's Tesla disappeared into the distance. "How are you?" Kate said, grabbing my shoulders.
"Sit down. I'm calling 911.
I could barely speak, the pain tearing me apart. "Kate, call my parents," I whispered. "Number's in the phone. I can't do this alone." "You're not alone," Kate said. "I'm with you." A distant siren wailed. Kate helped me sit on the grass, holding my hand. Paramedics rushed over, laying me on a stretcher. Kate jumped into the ambulance, not letting go. "Hold on," she whispered. "It'll be okay." The ambulance raced down the highway, sirens slicing the air. I squeezed Kate's hand. My face was wet with sweat. Contractions came one after another. A young paramedic checked my pulse. "Breathe, Elizabeth," he said. "Mount Sinai soon." Kate stroked my hair. "You're not alone," she repeated. "Sarah and John are already on their way." The hospital greeted me with noise and antiseptic smell. Nurses hooked me up to monitors, placed an IV. I breathed heavily, fingers digging into the sheets. Kate stayed by my side, her voice anchoring me. "Who's your emergency contact?" a nurse asked. "My parents," I managed. "Kate knows the number." Kate nodded, dialing. An hour later, the door swung open. Sarah, my mother, rushed into the room. Her eyes were red. Behind her, John, my father, followed, his face stern but hands shaking. "Lizzie," Mom said, grabbing my hand. "We're here." She pressed her forehead to mine. Dad put his hand on my shoulder. For the first time in months, I felt I wasn't alone. They didn't ask about Michael. No need. Hours melted into pain and cries. Kate held my hand. Mom whispered words of reassurance. Dad stood by the door. And then, a cry, thin, alive. A nurse lifted the tiny body and laid it on my chest. "It's a girl," she said, smiling. I looked down. Emma. My Emma. Tiny fingers, half-closed eyes, soft breaths. I cried, tears ran, but it was relief. Emma was here. "What's her name?" the nurse asked. "Emma," I whispered. "Emma Wilson." Mom sobbed. Dad turned away, wiping his eyes. Kate took a photo, me with Emma, hospital lights, my face filled with love. The room was quiet. Monitors beeped. Emma slept in the crib, her fists clenched. I lay there, body aching but mind clear. Kate sat beside me, her iPhone on the table. "I recorded it," she said softly, opening the video. On the screen, the road, Tesla, Michael's shout, "Walk to the hospital!" Bag in the grass. His departure. I watched, fingers trembling. "What do we do?" I asked. "Show the truth," Kate said. "For Emma." I nodded. Michael didn't call. His silence was louder than words. I looked at Emma and realized I wouldn't return to him. Mom stayed overnight. Dad paced the corridor. Kate brought food, offered support. The next day, with discharge papers, I felt like a different person, stronger. A week later, I sat in the attorney's office. Linda Martinez, a woman in her 50s with perceptive eyes, watched Kate's video. Her face remained professionally calm, but her fingers clenched on the pen. "Abandoning a pregnant wife in a dangerous situation," she said, turning off the video. "Emotional abuse. We have a strong case, Elizabeth." I held Emma in my arms. She slept, so small, so fragile. "I want full custody," I said, "and child support. Not for myself. For her." Linda nodded. "Michael is wealthy. His company is thriving. He'll fight." She glanced at Emma. "But this video, the court will see the truth." At home, now my parents' house, I sat in my old childhood room. Mom had turned it into a nursery for Emma. White walls, a wooden crib, a Star Mobile. Dad installed security cameras, new locks. Michael sent a message a week later. "Where's my child?" I didn't respond. His lawyer contacted Linda. Negotiations began. Kate came every day, helped with Emma. "You'll make it," she said. "You already are." Emma grew. Her eyes turned bright blue like mine. She smiled when I sang lullabies. Sarah captured every moment. First smile, first tooth. The court date was set for 3 months later. Michael arrived in an expensive suit with a team of lawyers. I sat with Linda, holding a folder of documents. Kate was in the room, her iPhone with the video lay on the prosecutor's table. When the video played, Michael paled. His lawyers whispered. The judge, a woman in her 60s, watched the video, her face growing sterner. "Mr. Wilson," she said, "you left your wife, 9 months pregnant, on the side of the highway?" Michael stood. "Your Honor, it was an emotional yes or no, Mr. Wilson." "Yes," he admitted. The decision was quick. Full custody to me, generous child support, a restraining order to keep him 100 yards away. Michael could see Emma once a month under supervision. Leaving the courtroom, I held Emma to my chest. She slept, unaware of what had happened. Kate hugged me. Sarah cried. John shook Linda's hand. At home, I laid Emma in the crib. Stars on the mobile spun, casting shadows. I watched my daughter and thought, we're starting a new chapter, without fear, without Michael, just Emma and me, and the people who truly love us. "Sleep, baby," I whispered. "Mama is here. Always will be." Did you like the story? Write your opinion in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next interesting story. See you tomorrow.